Easy with a Z. GMDS Entertainment, get motivated and do something. Staying humble, staying hungry at the same time. Even when you try to change, it's gonna take time. Still put a smile on when I ain't fine. You can see it in my face when it's game time. When it's game time. When it's game time. You can see it in my face when it's game time.
All right, welcome. Thanks, Easy, for the music. It's game time. As our boy Easy said, we're in the house. We got a special guest tonight, man. We got the world famous Harry Boo in the house.
Absolutely.
Harry Boo. So Harry Boo, that's your birth name or?
Nah.
Boo Martin?
My birth name is Harold Joseph Martin.
There we go. All right. Where's the Boo come from?
Boo came from my mother as an infant would go, Boo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and I
pretty-
would crack up laughing.
Awesome.
So the name stuck, and I've had it for 53, going on 54 years now.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think
man.
my mother's ever called me Harry.
No?
Never, not once. No.
Oh, that's awesome,
Been
man.
Boo. Yeah, so everybody calls me Boo.
Cool. I love that, man. Absolutely love that. Another thing I didn't even realize until literally like 2 seconds ago, this is the Cimarron team right here.
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
for the people that don't know what we're talking about, starting Wednesday, we'll be going into a high custody unit in DOC here in Arizona and bringing some hope in there, bringing a message, seeing what it is the guys want to talk about, what that looks like. And this is the four of us that'll be going in there. So
Dream team.
the dream team, man, I'm looking forward to it. It's cool. It's a really good mix. All four of us live pretty similar, and also very different lives. So it'll be a really good way to
But all
connect.
blessed.
Absolutely.
All miracles.
100%. Happy every day. Wake up
sir.
happy every day, man.
Yes, sir.
It's awesome. And Boo came over a little bit early, so we could talk shit about you two
Yeah.
before you got here, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm glad you're here, Boo.
Mostly Jesse.
Mostly Jesse, for sure.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm honored.
Yeah, no, we're super
Oh,
happy
we
to
love
hear
you,
you.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. We talked the other day. Unfortunately, a friend of ours relapsed,
Yeah.
and he's in the streets. He's missing. Chris Stewart. If you guys see him, let us know. We'll
Yeah.
go scoop him up.
Yep.
But we were talking the other day, and we were wrapping up that conversation, and you could tell I was kind of in my feelings a little bit. And you're like, "Man, hey, Kristen Day, what's up?" I was kind of in my feelings, and you kind of set me straight. You said, "Hey, we can't care more than they do."
Can't want it more than he does.
That's right.
Absolutely. And in those moments, I needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And being surrounded by great people, you get advice like that.
Yeah.
Right. And you get feedback like that.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me, man, because I needed to hear that day. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So-
It's hard to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't want to rob them of their bottom. Let them know that them streets are still, nothing nice, man. There ain't really nothing good going on out there. And if that's what he wants to live, then he's going to have to find out the hard way that, it's still the street.
Yeah, it's different streets than we left, too,
Way
bro.
different.
Way
Way
different.
different.
Yeah.
I know we're older and all this other shit. I
Yeah.
get it. But I can confidently say that none of us look like what's going on out there right now. And I'm not saying we're any better or any worse. But man,
But this
that's a
fentanyl
different
is
animal, yeah.
It's a way different animal, man. I'm so happy I got sober when I did, man. Because the type of junkie that I am, this fentanyl would have killed me
He could
a
have
long time
killed,
ago.
killed all of us.
Yep.
Statistically, 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin.
Yep. Yep.
unbelievable.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So, Boo, tell us a little bit about your story, man. What's your deal? What have you been up to? What got you here?
I'm born and raised in South Philadelphia. About to turn 54 years old. Came up, regular childhood, normal childhood, 12 years of Catholic school. I was raised by my grandparents, Italian immigrants. They came over from Italy. They came to Canada. My mother and my aunts and uncles were born in Canada. I'm a first generation American on my mother's side. I was brought up right. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Do whatever you want here. It's Outlaws to Advocates, baby.
But I love to get high, man. I love to get fucked up, and coming from where I come from, my grandfather was a really strict Italian man, and until I was 18, I had to be home before the street lights went on. You know what I mean? I couldn't go out till my homework was done. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we sat down and ate together as a family. Like, I was raised the right way, you know, and when I was 18, he couldn't hold me back anymore, and I hit the street, and the street was my home from then on. And, you know, I just, you know, coming from Philadelphia, it's a rough stop anyway, you know, and, you know, I was raised on a corner, and we got drunk, we got high, we fought, you know, and then I found heroin, man. Yeah. And then that was it. It was over, 1991.
So you found heroin and life got tremendously better?
Oh, it was awesome. Life was so good. You know, I graduated high school in '89. I had to go to a rehab in 1989 in order to graduate high school because I was doing, you know, Percocets, Valiums, Xanaxes. I was a pillhead from day one.
What was rehab like in '89?
It was very posh and very nice, actually.
Was it really?
It was a place called Eagleville. It was like a country club, pretty much.
Was this in Philly?
It was in Eagleville, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a very nice place. And they sent you there for 28 days, and you know, I went to multiple detoxes, and you know, and rehab was just a lot. All the times that I went away to detox and rehab, I went away to get some sandwiches in me, get my weight back up, get away, hide out for a little bit, get away from people who were looking for me, the people that I stole from, and it was just a rest stop. The seed was planted of AA in them years, that first time I went to rehab, but until I was ready to change the way I think, the way I act, the people I choose to be around, I'm going to keep getting what I always got. So with that being said, 91, I found heroin, and I went from being in a home, a middle-class home, and living a good life to being living on the street and living in abandoned row homes with holes in the roofs, shooting dope by candlelight.
Romantic.
Romantic, yes, absolutely. You know, huddled together in the snow, hoping to find a vein, and life was just bad, man. It was really bad. And then in '94, I overdosed, and I was left outside of a hospital in Philly behind a bush, and I stayed there for 15 hours until someone found me. All my blood had settled. I had big blood clots on my back and on my legs. I crimped my sag nerve. My lungs collapsed. My kidneys malfunctioned. I was 30 minutes away from death. And I was in a coma for 6 days, 3 days drug-induced, 3 days because of the drugs that I was on. Had to learn how to walk again. Just the whole drag of that, in a wheelchair for 3 months, on crutches for 3 years. And you would think that after going through all that you'd want to stop getting high. You know what I mean? That maybe this isn't the life I should be living. You know what I mean?
It might be an indicator.
Yeah, maybe that's, you know, boom, check that. Maybe you should stop. But no, you know what I mean? It didn't stop me. For the next, from '94 till I came to Arizona in '96, I continued to use and go to North Philly and get drugs and get heroin on crutches. You know what I mean? And then in '96, I went to a rehab again, and my mother came to visit me and asked me if there was anywhere that these people could send me to get me away from Philly. I was going to die. I was going to go to prison for life. My stepfather, God rest his soul, he owned a bar and an after-hours club. I used to go there and, you know, work the bar and clean the glasses and do all that stuff. And I would steal tips. I would steal money from the bar. And he wanted to kill me. So my mother came and she's like, look, you can't come home. What are you going to do? Can these people find somewhere for you to go? So I went and asked the case manager. The case manager said, yeah, we got to hook up with this place called TLC. Shameless plug. So I called there. They said, make your way out here, and we'll figure out the rest. So in '96, my mother bought me a one-way ticket on a bus to Arizona. Took me 3 days to fucking get here. When I got here, it was like June 13th. And the door on that bus swung open, and that fucking heat rushed into that bus and hit me, and I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? It was like walking into a conventional oven.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I didn't make the right decision. But, you know, again,
Which TLC? Roosevelt?
no, Mac House.
That house.
Yeah, Mac House. You know, I bring me wherever I go, right?
Yeah.
So until I'm ready to change the way I think, the way I act, the people I choose to be around, I'm going to keep getting what I always got, and that was pain and misery and heartache. And I did that for my sober day is November 27th. I'm coming up on 10 years, 2014.
Woohoo, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, excuse me. But it took me all that time to finally figure out that, you know, there's nothing in that life, you know what I mean? So, 96, I got here, you know, ran the streets around out here, stopped doing heroin, became a tweaker, you know, just the same old shit.
How many times you go to prison out here?
4 times.
4 times?
4 times. Got my number in the beginning of '02. Did my last bit. I got out in July of '18.
Under the influence of meth, what was your crime of choice?
My crime of choice?
Yeah.
Check fraud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sophisticated.
Yeah, pinkies up. And selling meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the world's worst drug dealer. say
I was too.
I wasn't even a drug dealer.
I was too.
Every now and then I sold $20
Yeah.
worth of shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
balling.
I might make enough to pay off the 8 ball that I got fronted to me. You know what I mean?
I did, and I just moved.
Yeah, I used to think I was this big drug dealer. My dad tells me one time I'm talking to him from prison. He goes, "You're a terrible criminal. You always get caught."
Right.
He's like, "You always get caught."
Yeah.
Everybody at this table is a fucking terrible criminal.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible, terrible.
And the real eye opener for me, man, like, and don't get me wrong, I've had a bunch of them, but when I got El Chapo, I'm like, man, if they can get that dude, this dude like had the means to tunnel out of prisons and all this other shit. If he can't pull it off, there's no way my broke ass is pulling this shit off. You know, it's not something I wanted to do anyway, but it's just it's something to think about for people that are selling drugs that are still in the mix. Like they got that dude, man. There's
It's only a matter of time.
It's only
Yeah.
about the clock's ticking, man.
Hijack brain hijacks you from your values, immediately isolates you, and its ultimate goal is just to kill you.
I've literally watched like 3 of my neighbors go to jail since I've lived in this apartment
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah. It's inevitable.
I'm not even gonna get into it, but yeah, I've watched it. I almost got way too specific.
Yeah.
I
Got
saw
the
it coming in.
90-year-old downstairs.
Yeah.
He's like,
Now grandma's selling.
yeah.
But it's cool because I seen Catherine jumped on here, and we talked about her a little bit earlier before we started. She runs the Eris Foundation.
Yes.
She does a lot of work with the unsheltered population. And we went to their event last night. I had brought them in on a tour at New Freedom where I work at, and I asked Catherine how we can get involved, and she told me about the Tuesday night thing.
Yeah.
So I went, and I brought my table, doing my outreach stuff, and I was like, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And man, what an event. Like there were so many people there getting so many things that they need. There was no judgment, no stigma. Like everybody was accepted. Everybody was loving on everybody. And it was such an, like, I can't wait till next Tuesday night. And like my schedule's full,
Yeah.
but I made room for
But
that.
you'll make time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
'Cause that was a powerful event, and she took me on a tour, and we had Kristen Day was there, so she watched our table for us, which was really cool.
Did you get her autograph?
I did not get her autograph yet.
That cost $25.
She won't give it to you. Yeah, she's trying to charge me. Just kidding. But yeah, Kristen sat there, watched the table for us, and Catherine took us around and showed us everything that was going on. And that same conversation I alluded to earlier, where you told me what I needed to hear about not caring too much. Towards the end of that conversation, you said something to me like, "Man, isn't life fucking amazing?" Like, and it is. All of us, we wake up, and I can speak for all of us because we all interact enough for me to do this. So happy every single day. We get to do awesome shit. Even Wednesday nights, we come and do a podcast with a bunch of microphones strapped to a table, like a bunch of hood rats.
Yeah.
But we have fun, man.
Absolutely.
We have fun, and like I say it at the pro orientations. I'm like, a lot of people are going to tell you life's hard. It's not fucking hard.
No.
Do what you love.
Right.
If you don't like your job, quit.
Right.
I'm not saying be irresponsible,
Right.
but figure out what it is you love and do that.
One door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
As long as you do the next right thing and stay sober.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You're gonna be all right.
That literally, like when I first got out, I went over to your guys' house. You and Colby was there. Pretty sure I don't even have to explain who Colby is. I guarantee everybody in this conversation knows who Colby is.
Right.
She's like, dude, you can have all of this. Literally, all you have to do is stay sober.
Yeah.
And I left thinking, no, not really. No, I got to do more than that.
Yeah.
But literally, all I have to do is stay sober. I do what I love every day. That other shit comes.
Absolutely.
And it's literally just a result of staying sober.
Yep.
It's awesome. When Jesse told me that you were coming on tonight, man, I was excited.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I was super excited. Jesse's kind of
I don't know why, because when I shared at his meeting at Crossroads,
Yeah.
It wasn't my best share.
You
so
did well. You did well.
I didn't do good.
Yeah. You did well.
Okay.
You spoke for the whole, you spoke for the whole hour.
You're a very polite man. I mean, I've had better.
Yeah.
So this is to say that, but you know, I sometimes, you know, I'm not the speaker of the family. Everybody knows who that is. It's my wife. But you know, some days I do good. Sometimes that wasn't one of my good days. But if you tell me I did well, I'll believe that. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
absolutely receive that,
Absolutely.
man.
Take it. Yeah, receive it.
I can guarantee you this: that fucking message that night, I wasn't even there. You connected with somebody.
That's all I have to do.
You
And then-
connected with
but
somebody.
then that's all I tell myself when I'm done. Is if one person got something out of what I
Yeah.
said, I did my job.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Abs-
And I stayed sober for an hour, so
Yep.
win-win.
Win-win.
You know? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, I love you too. buddy.
You were in the same room with him.
With Jesse, yeah.
Yeah.
He chaired the meeting.
It's hard to stay sober in those environments. Every time I'm around him, I'm like,
When
this-
Jesse's in the room?
Yeah, I'm like this close to relapse. He drives me fucking nuts. No, I'm just kidding. Jesse's one of the most supportive dudes, and that's why I give him a hard time.
The gentle
Because-
giant.
Yeah, but like when I made a mistake. I brought a girl over here. I didn't do my homework and whatever else, and put myself in a weird position, and I did not want to talk to anybody about it. He was the dude I called.
Yeah.
Right. So the dude I call is the dude that I'm going to give the most shit to.
You got to have that dude.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
I do appreciate that, Jesse.
Thank you, brother.
And I want to say that even the days we talk about how we wake up happy and have all these good, even the bad days
Yeah.
are still good days.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even the boring days when I come home from work and I go and I just sit in my house and it's just so boring. Well, it's really not boring in my house. I got all them dogs and cats. But
You got 37
Right,
animals, dude.
You know what I mean? But even the boring days are fucking awesome still. You know what I mean? I get to have boring days today. I don't have to worry about hustle. I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't have to worry about getting a wake up, to have a wake up when I get up, because I never have a wake up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if I go to bed with a wake up, it's always gone by the time I wake up. But yeah, just life is good, man. Life is really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. We got, I don't have my glasses on. It looks like Marlo's in there, Robert Picard,
Garrett Dietz.
Garrett Deeds.
Garrett Dietz.
This is what it
Yeah.
is, boo. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody. We're glad you're here, man. We're glad you're here. So, what would you say, boo, is the best thing you got going on right now? And by the way, I am begging for a boring day.
Are you?
I need a boring day.
They're
in my
coming.
life. I need a boring
coming.
day. It'll get here. But what's the best thing you got going on right now, bro?
I can't even I don't even know the best thing I got going on right now. My wife and kids,
Awesome.
man. My wife and my little girls, man.
Awesome, man.
You know, there's a little thing going on with one of my daughters. But even still, I still love that little girl with all my heart and soul, man. And you know, and whatever is going on between us, it'll work itself out.
Absolutely.
But my family, man, my family is the best thing I got going on today, man.
That's cool.
I would be, I don't know where I would be. I don't know if I would be doing this. I don't know. I would be trying my hardest to be sober still, but I have the best sponsor, spouse, wife. You know what I mean? I'm blessed, man.
Hey, she makes a hell of a sandwich.
And she makes a sandwich with love, bro.
That's amazing. You know, piggybacking on that a little bit, you know, as you were asking Boo, you know, I was thinking to myself, well, what's the best thing I got going on? And I would have to answer that with the friendships that I've built.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely.
Yep.
The friendships that I've built, just walking this path and this way
Yeah.
of life, man. The people that are in my life today,
Yeah, absolutely.
just invaluable.
There's a handful of people that I can get on this phone with right now and will drop anything.
Yep.
But that's all you need is that handful. You know what I mean? Will drop, and there's one 2, 3 of them probably sitting in this room right now that I can call
Absolutely.
that would drop anything that they're doing that would come help me. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's awesome.
My buddy called me, I think everybody knows him, Justin Benjamin. He was when I was incarcerated, he was the reentry coordinator for DOC. He's formerly incarcerated, all that stuff, lived experience. And obviously we connected, he trained me in peer support, this, that, and the other. He called me yesterday or the day before. He's like, hey, my dad's going to my house. He's unloading the toolbox. He needs some help. I said, cool, I got you, man. Just let me finish up over here because I was in the middle of going to the new women's facility. I had to wrap some things up. I called him. I said, hey, man, I'll be leaving here in a second. He's like, oh, my dad got it taken care of. He goes, but thank you, man. So many people say they'll do stuff, they'll be there, and then they don't show up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just, it's cool to be that guy. Jesse called me one time. He had a family issue, right?
Yep.
He had a family issue. He calls me up and he's like, hey, but can you go help my dad? He needs a ride home from the VA hospital. And I was like, yeah, man, no problem. So I leave and I'm getting in my car and I'm like, it's such an honor to be able to, first of all, have people trust you to be around their family, right? Because that's kind of a new thing for me in most circles.
Right.
And then to be able to actually do it.
Yeah.
And to show up.
Follow through.
And to be there and
Yeah.
to so, like, it's, who the fuck is that? Where'd that dude come from? You know?
Exactly.
I never had people like that in my life in the past. I mean, really, to have somebody in my life that I could call and trust to go pick my dad up from the hospital at the drop of a hat. I mean, you just don't, friendships like that just aren't a dime a dozen.
There was a time when your dad would have had to walk home probably. You know what I mean? You didn't had nobody to call. You know, nobody you trusted like that.
Since we're talking about it, you still owe me like $10 for gas money for that day.
If I owe you, you'll never be broke.
Right? Money in the bank, baby.
Yeah.
No, it was really good. It was funny too because we're driving and I could see his dad struggling with the seat, and the way the seat thing is, it's in a weird position where it's hard to get. So we're just bullshitting, right? We're talking. He's all vet, you know, cool shit, man.
Yeah.
We pull into this little driveway of a car dealership, and he looks over at me because I was going to fix a seat. He looks over. He's like, "Oh, we going to buy a car?" I'm just going to take him to the dealership with me. I was like, no, man, I'm going to fix your seat. He goes, no, I'm okay, but I can tell he was struggling, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I got you. But, yeah. He was all nonchalant about it. He's like, oh, so we're going to buy a car?
Cool.
Just rolling with it, man. He didn't care. But, yeah, to have those kind of, like, I've talked about this before, but I went up to Safford. One of my goals was to go give back to the Safford community because the officers that worked at that prison were a huge part of my transformation. They talked to me like a human being. They had real conversations with me. So one of my goals from prison was to give back to the community. I love the prisons, don't get me wrong, that's where my heart's at. But I had a goal to give back to that community. I had the opportunity through Kristen Johnson, the Light, and Graham County Substance Use Coalition to go speak at a reentry center. And coming home, I blew the motor in my car. Smoked it. I mean, oil everywhere. I mean, where the hell was I? Right outside of Globe.
Right.
Whatever's right down the bottom. Like I literally rolled down the hill to a gas station.
That red car you had?
No, the one I just bought.
Oh.
But yeah, that's I owe like $11,500 on a $12,000 car at this point. I'm like, oh my God, dude. But it turns out we do the right thing. That motor had a recall on it. I got a brand new motor with 0 miles in it now.
Oh yeah.
Through Kia.
Yeah.
But that next morning when I woke up, you know, people had seen my stuff on Facebook. And like literally 5 minutes after this happened, I'm on Facebook posting about gratitude and being happy to be up there and, you know, be able to do that. Like the car's whatever, you know, we'll figure it out. It sucks, but we'll figure it out. Yeah. And the next morning I had like 7 people, dude. Hey, do you need to borrow a car? I'm at work all, Jeremy's like, I am at work all day. We need to take my car for the day. Hey, do you need money? Hey, I know that took, 'cause I told the car back from Phoenix. My buddy Scotty's like, I haven't talked to Scotty in months.
Yeah.
You know, or at least weeks. He's like, hey, man, I was probably an expensive tow. Do you need some cash? Are you broke? What's up?
Isn't that awesome, man?
Like 6 or 7 people
Yeah.
offering me their vehicle.
Throwing it at you.
I'm like, man.
Throwing money at you.
I couldn't even get a ride, dude.
There was a time.
10 years, I had to steal a car to get anywhere. And it's just to be surrounded by that. And it's what we tolerate. Right? I'm not going to tolerate people that are taken from me or
Right.
that are unhealthy or
Right.
not adding value. You know, we all work and we all support each other. And I'm not talking about work like jobs. We all work on ourselves.
Right.
We all have good direction. We're all moving in a positive route.
We all work good programs.
Yeah. And that, when the Cimarron thing originally came up, and I don't know if you guys know this or how much you know of this, but I had a meeting with the director and the assistant director, and they had asked me about, you know, problem yards, like what would you do? Like a genuine question. I'm like, man, I have no idea. I couldn't answer them, man. I was trying to think from like their point of view, you know, like security wise or like shit that I don't know. But when I came home and had time to process the conversation, I'm like, my answer is always hope. Hope is the most powerful drug on this planet. It changes the game. If you don't have hope, then why bother? Right? You got to hope for something better. And so I put that little proposal in. I asked them, I said, I'll do it by myself, right? I'll go in there by myself. But can I put a team together? You know, can I bring some guys with me, put a team together, and we'll go in there? And you three were the first ones that instantly popped in my head. Because even though our messages are different, our stories are different, everything else, at the end of the day, we're all trying to add love. Yeah. And we prove that every single day consistently.
All on the same path now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's so cool to finally get you over here to sit down and have this conversation. Man, life is just absolute. I got a T-shirt for you.
Good.
Yep. I got a T-shirt for you. I got
One
a
of
T-shirt
them?
for you motherfuckers too.
One of them?
One of these.
Good.
I got one in the car.
You're gonna go sit in the car in about 2 seconds. But yeah, it's so great, man, just to be able to do this kind of stuff, man. And none of us should even be alive, let alone sit. I mean, you slept in the snow for fucking 15 hours, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Normal people don't survive that shit, right?
Yeah, listen, I've been shot, stabbed, I've overdosed countless times, you know what I mean? There's a reason why the Lord kept me on this planet.
Absolutely.
And I believe it's to do exactly what I'm doing right now. It's
Absolutely.
To spread a message of hope, man.
Yeah, and speaking of God, Boo, I called you the other night, and I think that definitely people in our audience and any of those that are listening, I think it's important to know, like, when we're re-entering back into society, we're faced with certain challenges, and some of those challenges in the past we always used as an excuse to go back out and destroy our lives. And one of the things, and I'm grateful that that we talked. You'd lost your father recently. And we're talking about the power of connection, right? And I think it's important that everybody out there needs to understand what that message is, and it's what ultimately keeps you sober, right? And I thank you for, allowing me to talk about this vulnerable piece of your reentry, because I think I'll be reentering society for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
Every day is a new challenge, and I'm grateful for every opportunity I get to spend with my father, who's got significant health issues, right? And Jesse, too, can relate. So share in part with us what that felt like and what your instant message is to everybody out there when it comes to overcoming something that we used to use as an excuse to destroy our own lives.
Well, I mean, he was my stepfather, but he was the man that pretty much raised me. You know what I mean? He's been a part of my life for 50 of the 54 years I've been alive. And he was the main reason why my mother allowed me to come back home when I got out in 2018. He was my biggest fan. He was my biggest advocate. You know what I mean? He knew that I was changed. You know what I mean? And for the 2 years that I got to spend with that man, while I was there from 18 to 20 before I came back to Arizona, I'll cherish forever. You know what I mean? Called me Bowie. Bowie. Yeah. And when he passed on May 8th, my mother called me and she was distraught over the whole thing, and I told her I'm on my way. You know what I mean? And my wife, best wife in the world, told me go. You know what I mean? Didn't want to come with me because didn't want my mother to have to feel that she had to entertain people. Why? Don't cry because you're gonna make me cry. Please don't. And told me to just go be with your family and do what you got to do. So for 2 weeks, I got to go home and be a son and be a brother, be an uncle. Something I've never done before, you know what I mean? And them 2 weeks were awesome. You know what I mean? I got to take care of things for my mother. I got to buy the urn that my father is in. I got to buy the flag, because he's a veteran, the flag box that his flag is now in. You know what I mean? I have his ashes at my house here in Arizona. some of them. I just got to go do things that a son should do for, you know, their family, you know what I mean, and just be a part of the process of mourning, and a part of the process of remembrance of that man, you know what I mean, who was a good man. You know, he's all I've known as a father, you know, and it just meant the world to me just to be able to just be there and not expect anything in return. You know what I mean? I wasn't there for any money. I wasn't there for any kind of reason other than to just be there for my family. And it was fucking awesome, man. It was an awesome experience. My mother loved every minute of me being there for them 2 weeks. You know, I got to do things around the house. I got to just be there to comfort my mother, to cry with my niece, you know, to go help my brother clean out my dad's stuff from the club that he had, you know, and just be there just to comfort my family, man. You know, I mean, it was.
And I asked you this question. I said, what did you rely on? And you said two things to me. And I think it's very important.
I said God, and I said program.
Yeah. And what is that program?
That program is a program of Alcoholics Anonymous, you know what I mean? Or any anonymous, really. I don't discriminate on any of them.
But two things that keep you sober.
Program and God.
That's it.
Program and God. And then everything else falls in line after that. With that, God, program, fellowship, family, all that. You know what I mean? And I relied on all that, you know what I mean? And you know, that's all I got today is God and program, man. You know, and my family and all you guys and all these people that surround me today who are in this program. And I thank God every day for it. Yeah.
And I think one of the coolest things about this is the power of experience. When Bill W. shared with Dr. Bob, right, bedside, we didn't know that relationship was going to transform the world for us, guys like us who just died on the street. And, you know, I lost my stepfather 2 years before I was released. So listening to what your shared experience and understanding where I'm at today, this really sets a tone for people like Jesse and I and my brother to really just focus in on what we're going to be able to do if those times come.
And they will come.
They will come.
They will come.
And so we greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable.
It's my honor, bro. My honor.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, I look back at my life, and the only people that have ever shown me unconditional love were my parents.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, my dad, my stepdad. They're the only people that have ever loved me no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, even in my deepest, darkest times when I didn't deserve it, when I just threw my life away time and time again, and I was sitting in prison by myself, just felt so alone, they were always there for me.
Yep. Yeah. There was times when, you know, all the stories that you feed your family when you're in prison and you're trying to pay your debts, and you know, TVs that you break horseplay in, and you know, I told my mom these stories. I wanted to be a wildland firefighter, and this one guy was going home, and he had these fire retardant clothes, and they were almost brand new. I barely wore them, but he's going to give them to me, but I got to send him $200 to this address. And she's like, what? She's like, you're lying. You know what I mean? Like, I watch the Discovery Channel. You guys don't have to pay for anything in prison. You know what I mean? But, you know, even knowing that I'm lying, you know what I mean? The woman still, you know what I mean? On a fixed income, still sent me this money, you know, and, you know, and even getting to the point of telling her, Mom, I'm going to, you know, they're going to come stab me or whatever. You know, nobody was ever going to come stab me. You know what I mean? You know, none of that shit was ever going to happen to me.
I'm going to have to talk to my brother about that.
Jason might have, yeah. But, you know, just to tell her these things, just to put that fear in her, even, you know, she really doesn't know if it's going to happen or not, you know what I mean? But, you know, what a piece of shit to tell her these things, you know what I mean?
That addiction, it's got no morals, it's got no values.
Absolutely not.
I just want to give a shout out, Peggy. We were talking about it before, the J&M walk.
Hi, Peggy.
Yeah.
Hey, Peggy.
Peggy.
Love Peggy.
Love her.
She jumped on. She said, I got to go back up here in the chat. But she said, I wish my boys would have came home and knew how much they were loved and wanted. I wish they would have had guys like you to tell them there's hope.
Yeah.
You know, and that's literally why we do what we do, right?
Absolutely.
Because if the people sitting at this table are a fucking mess, train wreck, right? My buddy Jerry from Freebird, we were driving in a car a couple weeks ago. He looks at me, he's like, man, you know there's people out there who actually think we got our shit together?
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking crazy, because I'm a mess.
Imagine
But
that.
we're surrounded, like I am literally sitting at this table right now, surrounded by greatness.
Yeah.
Right? Surrounded by
Ditto.
people who overcome.
Ditto.
Surrounded by people who persevere.
Ditto.
And it's so amazing to be a part of this and then have people like Peggy Hernandez who is throwing the J&M walk. I'm speaking at it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's on Saturday.
Yeah.
It-
I knew her boys.
did you?
I knew them both, yes.
Well,
I knew them both, yes. Got high with them both.
and she's using that
Yep,
as a place to bring hope.
yep.
She's using that as something to spread love and to share and turn in something that was extremely sad and tragic
Absolutely.
into something that saved lives moving forward.
I can only imagine. I mean, I lost my sister to this disease as well in prison. You know, she overdosed and died from fentanyl. I can only imagine what my mother went through in that time, losing one child.
Yeah.
But to have Peggy lose 2 children to this disease, unimaginable. The pain that woman must have felt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then she uses that pain to bring the message,
Man,
right?
Awesome.
Doesn't make it her fortress, makes it her fuel. Now she's
Absolutely.
out here driving change and doing that.
great woman.
Yeah, if the J&M walk, it's this Saturday. I can't see anything.
3615 West Rozier.
Get your glasses on, man. They're right there.
Yeah, 3615 West Rozier Road, Phoenix, Arizona 8504. Man, be there.
Yeah, come out, support. There's going to be music. I know Sober House Records is going to be
Yeah.
there. There's some speakers. I'm not sure exactly who. I know myself and Kristen are speaking.
Yeah, they do a balloon release.
Balloon
all that,
release. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I think there's 52 vendors. Like, it's a huge event.
Yeah, it's
So
a big deal.
anybody that's listening, anybody that sees that, come out, support, save some lives, add some love, have some fun.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I'm not in recovery to be bored. Like,
Nah,
I definitely wasn't bored before, right?
Yeah.
We definitely weren't average
Always
before.
found something to do.
That's why we ended up in prison, right?
Yep.
I refuse to be boring or average now.
yeah.
I really do want to have a boring day, like you were talking about. I haven't had one of those in a fucking minute. I need one.
It's not gonna happen.
But,
Absolutely not.
but yeah, it's just come out and have some fun, man. Celebrate life. You know, the work. Boo, I want to tell you something, man. What you do, what you and Colby do. I don't care if it's taking care of the animals. I don't care if it's picking guys up at the prisons. I don't care if it's getting people housed. Like, I know you guys are involved in so much different stuff. Everything you do matters so much. And the ripple effects, people are getting their parents back. People are getting their dads and their daughters back.
Yeah.
People are getting safety. People feel loved. Like,
Yeah.
the work that you do absolutely fucking matters,
No,
man.
you know
Absolutely
what?
matters.
I got into this field, and it was your wife that took me under her wing and taught me how to do this thing. I wouldn't be alive without you guys. Coming off 12 years, I'm telling you, I did not know what the fuck I was doing.
I remember when you came home, bro. I remember when you
Wide-eyed
came home.
and skinny.
Bushy tail?
But ready to conquer the world, man. And you did. You did, man. You're killing it, Jeremy. Killing it. We all are. You know what I mean? And there's no greater gift that I receive being in this field. That when I see somebody up that I worked with or somebody that I was a case manager with, to
That's so
go up
great.
there and get a 1-year chip, or you know what I mean, and for them to come to me and thank me for what I did for them. And for me, it's like, well, I didn't do nothing but my job. You know what I mean? But they see it differently. They see it me as helping save their life, and I guess I did. You know what I mean? But it's just another day in the life. You know what I mean? That's what we do today.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. And that's a big thing too, because we get a lot of credit, right? Working in this field, people that we help, like, oh man, you did this, you did that. And we always give that back.
Right.
Because you did the fucking work.
Yeah.
I wasn't there with you 24 hours a day.
Right.
You made those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I could walk into my parking lot right now and buy some fentanyl when nobody's around. No one's going to
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
But making those decisions in the dark, that's the work.
We'll know.
Yeah.
You'll be, you'll be
No one's going to know at that moment. They'll figure it out
3
about
o'clock
5
in the
minutes
morning.
later.
Hey, can I get $3? You know, I'm like, George.
Hey, remember when you said
George, you were rich 12 hours ago.
And we're gonna beat down the person that gave it to you.
Yeah. We're gonna eradicate your whole complex.
Jeremy, remember when you asked me to borrow your car? Well,
Yeah.
Can I borrow it again? But can you leave the title in it?
2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, still gone.
no, like being out of the yard, bro. I'm starving, man. Can I get something to eat, man? I don't care if it's hygiene. I just need a couple bucks.
Can you do 5?
Can you do 5? The lime shrimp soups.
Yeah.
Everybody paid their
Gosh.
bills with.
I really like sausage.
I remember when I first got to Bachman, where you guys were, and my neighbor had the curtain. Yeah, because he doesn't want me to see what he's doing over there, right? Like totally discreet. And I woke up the next morning, and he turned around, and I finally met him, and he had the biggest cyst on his right cheek.
It was a spider bite.
Yeah, and the
It's the only place there's a vein.
the officer walks right up, and she goes, "Hey, roll up. You're going home today." And he looks at her and goes, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, and she left him. She like shook her head and like walked off. And I said, "Hey, man, you do realize that they just came and told you you're going home today?" He goes, "Oh no, they got it wrong." And I'm like, "Okay, well, how can I support you, right?" He goes, "Well, when I get out of here, I'm going to need a job." I said, "Dude, getting a job is the last thing you're going to need getting out of here. And if you're getting out of here today, I encourage you to go get some help right away." And then like 2 hours, like an hour later, she came back with 2 other officers, and they just started packing up his stuff. He went home that day, and he was arguing to leave,
Gate by 8,
Yeah.
spoon by noon.
Oh, man.
Oh, for sure.
And
No,
then
it's
all,
by
all his
10:30.
buddies, and then all of his buddies came over and grabbed up whatever was left, and there was nothing there. It was like, but they did search. It was
Where's that rig at?
so amazing, so
He
amazing.
took it out with him.
Pack of papers that's got 3 or 4 left in it.
But it's like what we talk about, right? Like we used to watch the guy who owed 80% of the yard of soup, and they'd run around, and I'm like, man, like that is the same work ethic I want to have. Getting out of here.
Right.
I am going to do, and you know what? You're gonna have to beat me up in order for me to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's amazing, man. It really is.
I look back, right, and I get my poor mental health, and I'm like, man, I lost the job. I had my son out here with me, right? I got my son back in my life. I got every reason in the world to be doing the right thing.
Right.
I lose my job. So that gave me permission. All I was looking for was an excuse,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That gave me, now I got to sell drugs.
Right.
I don't got to sell drugs. I just want to get fucking high.
Right.
Because I don't want to deal with work.
Right.
With life.
I can take 10 years on the chin and go and deal with that without shedding a fucking tear, but I lose a job, my whole life has to fall apart. Like that lack of coping skills, there's no way, and I know you guys are big with the program, and that's phenomenal, right? It's a way you cope. You found a coping skill that works.
Yeah.
Until we find those coping skills, that's our number one coping skill. Right? When we take that away, it doesn't necessarily mean that all your problems go away.
No, that was the solution, not the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the fucking solution. And now we got to start developing coping skills.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was you that said about the friendships.
Yeah.
And it really is, man. It's the people that you have around you. Like my job at New Freedom, one thing I learned quickly when I got there was how much I have to learn. The people that I work there, I'm like, because nice still isn't my default. Like my default's still dick.
Right.
And I see these people and they're genuinely nice. Bad terminology.
No comment.
But these are like genuinely nice people.
Right.
These are people that genuinely reach out. These are people, like when I was in prison working as a peer, I was one of the hardest workers for sure.
Yeah.
And now I'm at New Freedom. I'm trying to keep up with people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you are bought in.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just again, being surrounded by people like that, I have no choice but to perform better.
And
Right.
people are
Well-
trying to keep up with you. I'm working 50 hours a week doing service work on my days off, and I feel like you're running circles around me. I'm serious, dude. You got a
Yeah.
beast of a work ethic.
And
You're a
this
beast,
motherfucker
bro.
been out 6 months.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We don't stop. I mean, and that's it. Credit to Northside. I mean, like I told you, man, they literally, like, I was the only one on the front end of that place, and then
I know.
today it's a multi-million-dollar business. We can't be stopped. Our ethic, and I'm grateful that you brought this up because, I am a product of a lack of self-care. I've had some things fall off along the way that I, regret that I'm still working out. But that's what we are, right? We're accountable, right? You guys communicate, and we stay connected regardless, right? It was last week you were talking. You're like, man, I just need to take a break, So, being there for us in those moments where, we really are like in our own head, we're running strong, but, at the same time, accountability, you see that, you're like, hey, bro, check this out. Like, I know this, I'm going to bring it to your attention. I just noticed it, something, I'm like, hey, that's what it is, right? After you guys did that, I took a test and I hit all symptoms of burnout, right? So
Time to take a break.
without that,
Yeah.
that's that power of connection, man.
Yeah.
Everything we're talking about right now tonight is all connection. Connection to the program, connection to God, connection to family, connection to the people at work, right?
Each other.
Each other.
And you hit it
Connection's
too.
a cure.
Yeah, all this stuff that comes into play, deaths in the family, loss of jobs, and people who use over it are exactly doing that, is using an excuse. You just wanted to get high anyway. You just weren't being honest with yourself. You
That's
know what
all.
I mean?
My buddy that's in the streets right now.
Yeah.
My buddy that's literally in the fucking streets right
Right.
now. All he was waiting for
Was the
because
excuse.
here's a really dangerous thing that I've learned. And, I don't know how long everybody's been in recovery, but you've been doing it. You said almost 10 years,
Yeah.
right? Something I'm learning now is that it's even more dangerous for people like us when we relapse because we know the recovery language. I can talk to you about values. I can talk to you about step 4. I can talk to you about, I can speak the recovery language. I had to learn all this shit.
Yeah.
But the people that learn this and then relapse, they know what to say to get through that moment.
Right.
Right? They're not really having those groundbreaking moments. And I watched this particular individual have these comments without doing the uncomfortable work, without the real ownership. And I see what happens.
Yep.
I see it out there 3 weeks out of prison, back in the streets, and it breaks my fucking heart.
Absolutely.
And it's just like you said, man, that connection. It's the opposite of addiction.
Right. I'd rather you just tell me when you're getting ready to come out, like, yo, look, I'm getting out and I'm going to get fucked up.
I'm not ready. Yeah.
I'm not ready. I'm going to get out and get high. Like, be that man. Be a man.
Right.
And come out and just
Here's
say it.
$10, bro. I want you to hit bottom quicker and shit so
Right.
I can help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Keep my number stored in your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I just had a guy call me from Bisbee a couple of days ago. And he's like, man, I'm messing up. He went through the second chance center. To be honest with you, I didn't remember the guy. We see a lot of people go through
Right.
it. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got you. I talked to, shout out to Axiom. Like, they did phenomenal with finally getting this guy to treatment. But I talked to a family member, or I talked to him. And he's like, yeah, I'm in town, but my family got me a hotel room. I was just like,
Why'd they do that? Yeah.
why?
Right.
Why? The next day I talked to him, he's in Tucson.
Yeah.
He's got no car. He somehow made it from Phoenix or Bisbee to here to Tucson. Now he's in a car with his angry sister who's driving him back. Went to treatment today. Axiom walked him and supported him through the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I mean, they did absolutely amazing with finally meeting this guy where he was at and getting him in there. And it's just all that roundabout stuff that we do. Oh, I'm going to go stay with my kids, or I'm going to, I lost this family member. The whole time we knew we were going to get high.
Right.
We knew it. And I'm not saying it's better or worse, but if I want to get high, I'm going to get fucking high.
Right.
I don't need to sit here and lie to all you guys about it. I'm going to go do my thing. I might lie to get out of the room,
Right.
but after that,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, just like with my wife, with people that call my wife and they're like, well, she's like, okay, I got a bed for you. When can you get here? You know what I mean? The bed's waiting for you right now. Well, I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. Give me 2 days. Instead of I gotta go do this with my kid, do that with my kid. Just say no. All right, you got the bed now. Will it be available in 2 days? Because I'm gonna go get fucked up for 2 days.
Yeah.
Just say that. You know what I mean? And my wife will be like, yeah, it'll be here in 2 days.
Yeah.
But she's like, man, whatever. Call me when you're ready.
I talked
Yeah,
to-
and then like 6 months later, she'll go pick them up at county jail, and then a year later, they're getting their first chip. Yeah, that's right.
Beautiful thing.
Right, yeah, beautiful thing.
That's a fucking rough road, eh?
Like, hey, because so like when I first got in this field, I was like, gosh, my passion is just driving this train, man. Like I want to pick somebody up, and she's like, yeah, just pick them up from county jail. They don't, All right, cool. Yeah, let's run that. Oh yeah, you Sackatone? Yeah, go all the way out there. Go out there, pick them up. All right.
We were having a conversation
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
And Boo was,
People guiding you in from rooftops. Yeah, I'm here to just bring a solution, man. You ready?
we were having a conversation earlier, and my girlfriend was asking some questions about court, and she said, "Hey, if somebody has to go down there because they got a warrant, what's that going to happen?" We're kind of talking through the process. I look at Boo, I'm like, I am so glad I don't have these problems anymore. I'm like getting anxiety from thinking about this shit.
Yeah.
First thing that goes through my mind, I'm not going to fucking court.
Right. But you know what's a beautiful thing is today I get to go sit in that court and stand up and advocate
up.
for these people.
Yep.
It's amazing.
And let them know. And the judges, some of these judges, the one judge in Mesa, Judge Areola, she was a Superior Court judge when she sentenced me in my first sentence to prison in 2002, and now she's in city court. But I go in front of her into her court all the time, and she seen me in the back of the court, and she's like, I know you. What's your name? And I told her, she's like, yeah, you know me. You sentenced me to prison in 2002. And she's like, well, what are you doing here? And I told her what I'm doing. And every time I get in there, she stops what she's doing in the court. She says, Mr. Martin, how you doing? You know what I mean? Stops and says hi to me. It's a fucking awesome feeling, man.
That is
You know what I
awesome.
mean?
People talk to us like
People
that.
talk like we walk around metal detectors now. You know what I mean? Isn't that fucking awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I talked to
metal.
I'm on probation. I'm trying to get off.
Uh-huh.
I talked to my probation officer, and
Did you get that reference letter?
yes, I did. I haven't read it yet, but thank you very much. I am excited. I asked for. I want to submit 10 references letters. You know, I think that's a good number. I landed on 10 for some reason.
Yeah.
But I was talking about. Had a conversation with my probation officer, and I done some research on reasons that I could put for getting off probation, and one of those reasons was waste of resources. So when I had this conversation with her, I was like, I don't want to say it's a waste of resources, but it's kind of a waste of resources. You know, we moved through that, and when I had my check-in with my PO yesterday, she's like, you know, those words you said to me about being a waste of resources, I agree. And to hear that from a probation, she's like, have you ever completed probation before? I'm like, absolutely not. I don't even think I've checked into probation before. And now I have a probation officer who's willing to advocate for me to get off probation after just a few months. And it's just, it's so surreal, man.
Yeah.
You got judges waving you when you walk into a courtroom. This dude worked in a fucking hospital. Jesse's teaching peer support. It's like, God. Have you guys looked at our history?
Right.
Like, we were maniacs.
Where are we?
I was stepping out of the library the last week, but because of the connections I've made on LinkedIn and stuff, I'm walking, and there's just a group of cops there, and I just walk right up, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Chief?" He's like, "Hey," you know, and I stop and talk to him, shake his hand, take a picture, whatever, and then, you know, one of his new officers, he was sitting there, you know, kind of coaching 14 days on the force, man, and I got to be able to look at that officer and say, because if you learn all those great policies and procedures, you'll keep guys like us alive so we can come out here and thrive.
Absolutely.
No.
You know,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, would I have ever had that? I'm like, no, I'm not talking to these people. No. They need to know.
Yeah.
They need to know that we're out here and we're thriving and we're grateful.
Absolutely, bro.
I got the best bit of karma ever. My fucking kid's a cop.
My brother was a cop.
Nuts, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And my kid loves his job, and he shares stuff with me, and we have conversations. And he even told me, like, his sergeant wants to meet me next time I go to Pennsylvania. And, you know, the work they do, it matters as well.
Yep.
Especially in Pennsylvania, right? Like Philadelphia.
Yeah, they're picking motherfuckers up out of the snow out there.
Yeah.
Seriously, bro.
That's,
Seriously,
it's
K&A. Look it up on Facebook, Kensington and Allegheny. You'll see what's going on in Philly right now out there.
yeah, it's rough, huh?
It's like Night of the Living Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need law enforcement. People like me need to be off the streets.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
do.
100%.
Yeah. Thank God you're sitting here right now.
I was, you know, they hit us with a lawn dart like any rabid dog on the street, man.
Yeah.
We got kennels for you, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now I got the detective who arrested me and put me in prison. Well, I put myself in prison, but the detective who gave me a ride there, willing to write a reference for my fingerprint clearance card. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
man?
I was at an event with, it was Johnny Helia. He's a outreach over at, you've met him.
Aurora Behavioral
At
Health.
Aurora.
Yeah.
And me, him, and Kristen are standing there having a conversation. And Kristen's all, hey, he used to be a Scottsdale PD. I said, yeah, I know. He put me in prison for 7.5 years. She's all, get out.
As soon as you see that man, you know he was a cop.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Hey, we're going to have him on here eventually. He's got a podcast, too, that he does for his son, like Out is the New In, I think it's called.
Chase the Vase.
Yeah.
Um,
Colby toured him to one of the places that she was working at one time that I was working as well, and he came by and she brought him by my office, and as soon as she went, introduced him, and I said, "How you doing, officer?" Because he just got that look, bald-headed, you know what I mean? How you doing?
It's funny because I'll be in the gym and I like turn around, he's looking right at me. I'm like,
And he was like, how do you
Making
know
sure
I
you're
was a
still
cop?
acting right.
It's funny. It's funny because when he retired in Scottsdale, a month prior to that, so a month later, it was his group, the Heat Squad, that drove a tank up to the house that I was staying at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had retired a month prior to taking. Well, took you down. Yeah, but
They got me twice.
Yeah.
I bailed out. They got me again, them motherfuckers. But
Yeah.
again, saved
What
my
a
life.
small world,
Wasn't
get
the
to-
first time.
get
wasn't
to
the
work
second time.
out
I was
and-
with your brother the second time, matter of fact.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but yeah, so to be on this side of things, we only got about 2 minutes left here, but to be on this side of things, man, to be sitting at a table with greatness, it's such an awesome just feeling, man. What do you want to close us out with, Boo?
What do I want to close you out with? I just want to give everybody a message of hope, man, to let anybody know that it's possible. If the 4 people sitting at this table can get this thing, anybody can fucking get this thing. You know what I mean? We are all miracles sitting at this table right now. We should not be sitting at this table right now. If the 12-step program is what works for me, if it isn't your thing, find what is your thing, man, and get the help that you need. My life is totally different today, and I wouldn't change a thing about my life, and I wouldn't give up this life for anything.
Cool, man. Let me give you a couple of shout outs here that came in. It said, Nate Shepard, Harry Boo, I appreciate when you and your lady brought an HI meeting to the yard. You have a great story, and I know you set a lot of guys on fire that night. Thank you for being of service. And then Robert Oliva said, oh shit, that's Boo. Tell him I said, what's up? Tell him I'm the guy. Good night. Bought the phone case for at MRC,
Oh, yeah.
MRC
Yeah.
Class Act.
Yeah.
So it's
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I never thought I would hear from that dude again.
it's awesome. Well, you just did. That's awesome, huh? Jeremy, you got anything before we take off?
Just that it's an honor to know you. It's been an
Likewise.
honor to mentor from you as I navigated my reentry. And thank you for coming on and being of service, man. We love you.
Yeah.
And we love everyone out there.
Yeah.
So thank you for your support.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Boo. Amazing message. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on.
Stick
Really
around.
appreciate
Jesse's
it.
buying tacos.
Yeah. He's got a date.
No, that dude canceled.
Yeah.
No, you're available, aren't you? Yeah, I am. But hey, thanks everybody for being here with us tonight, man. Bringing a message of love, hope. My phone number 480-527-6326. Anybody that's suffering, going through anything at all, need support, just want to bullshit, whatever, give us a call. We love everybody here. We're here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Anybody can change. Anybody recover. Anybody can recover. And hope, most powerful drug in the world.
Yep. Good night. God bless.
All right, brothers.